I greet you, dear viewer. Today is on Wednesday, 8th June, the year 2022. We are the 10th week in ordinary time. My name is Alex, and this is BEA-M Media. Welcome to our show today, Saint Pedagogy. Today we start by discussing a vibrant topic, canonization. What does canonization mean? If we can try to ask ourselves as Christians, as Catholics, as people of God. Canonization simply means to declare a deceased person canonically an official and a recognized saint. Because in the past episode we've been seeing how this happens, that we don't have walking saints. So canonization comes to a deceased person who has been elevated to that level of becoming a saint because of his virtuous living. And what is canonization in the Bible? You can go to the Bible and try to get some references from there and see what does it mean in the Bible context. Canonization is the process by which the books of the Bible were discovered as authoritative. Men did not actually canonize the scriptures. Men simply recognized the authority of the books that God inspired. That's why when we have canon law, being the authority of the church, governs, outlines how the church is governed. So canonization comes to outline this authority to those people who have been elevated to be saints. And also one of the perennial questions which people do ask, why is canonization important to the life of a Christian, to the life of a deceased person? And the church's official recognition of sanctity implies that the person is now in heaven and that they may be publicly invoked and mentioned officially in the liturgy of the church, including in the litany of the saints. And in the Catholic Church, canonization is a decree that allows universal veneration of the saints. Brothers and sisters, I believe that we got something out of that pedagogy, the teaching concerning canonization. Today is a great day, being on 8th June, the year 2022. We're celebrating a great figure in the church. Today we're celebrating Saint Marian Thracia Chiramel Mankidiani, a great figure in the church. And brothers and sisters, I'd like to invite you, we'll listen to her story. She was born on 26 April the year 1876. Blessed Marian Thracia hailed from a wealthy family in Pucheria, Kerala. That's where she came from. But her ancestral family was impoverished, as her grandfather was compelled to sell his property for marrying off his 7 daughters. So acutely grave was the financial situation of the family that her father and brother took to drinking. Yet hers was a life that was lived in a manner that challenges modern man to live heroically the values of the gospel. The third of the 5 children of Thomas and Thunder Chiramel Mankidiani, Thracia manifested signs of saintliness very early in life. In fact, already at the tender age of 10, she had consecrated her virginity to Christ. You can imagine as young as she was. The untimely death of her God-fearing mother, a devout Christian, led her at the age of 12 on a long search for a choice of vocation, a search which prompted her to renounce home in favor of an heretical way of life, an act which incidentally exposed her naivety. Her zeal for the church drew her and 3 of her companions to frequently undertake the cleaning of the local church and the decoration of the altar, while the poor, the sick, the lonely, the orphaned, and the victims of leprosy and smallpox benefited much from her loving concern. That was part of her apostolate with the other 2 companions. Thracia had a special devotion to an unfailing trust in the Holy Family, whom she saw often in visions, and from whom she routinely sought and obtained guidance in her apostolate. She prayed much and fasted for the conversion of sinners. That's why at all times we have been requested to intercede for others as well. And she Besides being blessed with the gift of prophecy and healing, an aura of light and sweet odor, Theresia also had the mystical gift of the stigmata, which she carefully kept hidden from public view. Her frequent ecstasies and levitations had her lifted cross like high up on the wall in her room every Friday. As though on ascertain the depth of her zeal and dedication, the Lord led her through periods of torment by way of diabolical attacks, while she assiduously fought temptations against faith and chastity. Having sustained a serious leg injury that refused to heal on account of severe diabetes, Mother Marian Theresa went to her eternal reward on 8th June the year 1926, leaving behind 3 convents, 2 schools, 2 hostels, and orphanage, and a band of 55 dedicated sisters to carry on her apostolate of love and mercy. And actually, incidentally, the congregation today has about 1,584 provost nuns serving in Germany, Italy, Ghana, besides Kerala and northern part of India. She was beatified by Pope St. John Paul II on 9th April the year 2000, and Marian Theresia Chiramel Mankidian was canonized by Pope Francis on 13th October the year 2019, just recent. So actually she's a great figure in the church, and as we have seen her story, we learn a lot from her teachings. As we have seen is that she was born in the year 1876 in a wealthy family. You can imagine. So this one challenges us. Do we understand our families, where we come from, and how do we handle spiritual matters? With her, she came from a rich family, but she was able to denounce all that wealth and to follow Christ. So it's a challenge to each and every one of us, that do we embrace this teaching from her lifestyle? And she consecrated her life virginity to Christ at the age of 10. You can imagine, she was very young, but she said this is the way to go. So sometimes we fail to make good decisions at our tender age. Sometimes we claim to know when we don't. And her mother died while she was 12 years old. You can imagine. So she was left at the age of 12, very, very young. And together with her 3 companions, frequently cleaned the church and decorated the altar. So a challenge to each and every one of us, our participation in the church. So are we active participants in the church? Are we practicing our Christianity, our Catholicism in an active way? So she challenges us in one way or the other. And she worked for the poor and sick, lonely and orphans. A very good and vibrant apostolate to impress each and every one of us, because these people, they need to be shown love, the love of Christ. So sometimes we overlook them and we just carry on with our lives. We just say, man for himself, God for us all. But this should not be part of us, because today we've learned something from Saint Theresia. And she prayed much and fasted for the conversion of sinners. So sometimes if we try to ask ourselves, how often do we fast? Or we just wait for Lenten season, that's when we only fast. Fasting is very, very good, especially when it comes to our spiritual growth. And we have to dedicate our fasting as well as praying for others, because that's our obligation as human beings. We have to intercede for others. Besides our own petitions, we have also a chance to also intercede for others. And she was blessed with the gift of prophecy and healing. So sometimes we have talents, we have gifts, but we have not realized these talents and gifts. So what's expected of us? Sometimes also as young people, we fail to understand our career choices. So how do we usually attack these when it comes to you and me? So it's a challenge to each and every one of us, so that we get to understand what the Lord has placed before us and see how to make it much better. And listen, she aspired for the life of prayer, penance, and austerity. This is what we're supposed to embrace each and every day, that prayer should be the key of the day and the lock of the night at all times. That should be our motivation. And as we have seen is that she died in the year 1926, beatified by Pope St. John Paul II, and in the year 2000 and canonized by Pope Francis in the year 2019. Actually, a great figure in the church. Listen, this is one of the quotes by St. John Moll. He writes, "By the merit of his bitter passion, joined to mine and far surpassing the merit for me, all that I can serve myself is bounteous goodness shall release me from the pains of purgatory and shall increase my rewards in heaven besides." A great quote there by St. John Moore, in tandem with the teachings of St. Marian Theresia, whom we're celebrating today. Actually, I think, brothers and sisters, we learned a lot from this teaching of the saint of today, and each and every time we are requested to dedicate our prayers to our saints so that they can be able to intercede for us in our daily sorrows, in our daily happiness. So they are there for us, to pray for us, to intercede for us. So brothers and sisters, we've come to the end of our show today. Thank you for watching and following right from here, BEA-M Media. You can get us on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to BEA-M Media. You can be able to get us on and also on our website via www.beammedia.com. My name is Omar Alex. Have it nice.